All right, good morning everybody. We're back at the new homestead property this morning, bright and early this morning. We've got a really busy day today, and quite frankly a busy week. We've got garage door people coming to replace this old wooden garage door that is rotten and sagging and it doesn't shut any good, so we're having them replace that. So we've got to hurry and dismantle this garage door, take the tracks and everything down, and make sure that the rough opening is ready for the new garage door before they get here. Also, the sheetrock crew started yesterday fixing some of the sheetrock in the ceiling and patching some of the cracks in the walls in different spots throughout the house. This bad spot here at the chimney where it had leaked, they've got it patched, and the first coat of new mud put on, as well as up through there. So they won't be back today. They've got to let this dry for a day or so before they can come back and sand it and then put some more coats on. So as soon as they get done with all their work on the ceiling and the walls and the sheetrock, we'll be able to get a coat of paint on the ceiling. But I'm going to go through and patch some of the nail holes and some of the nail pot places in the sheetrock. That's something that I can do. I've never professionally I've never professionally done any sheetrock work, but I did do a lot of sheetrock in the previous house that we remodeled, the one we're currently living in. I hung a lot of that sheetrock and finished it myself. So, you know, some of this easier stuff I can definitely do. So we're gonna get out here and get this garage door removed before the garage door people get here to install the new garage door. So I've never hung a garage door or taken down a garage door, but honestly, I don't think it can be that hard. Just a few bolts and some of the tracks that are bolted to the ceiling, and same thing for the wheels in the tracks. We should be able to just unbolt those, pop each individual panel out, and we'll set them aside. So let's get to work. Nope. All right, here we go. It definitely would be ideal if I would have went ahead and replaced all the trim around the door and cleaned the walls and already had painted the garage in here, but I just simply haven't got to it yet. I went ahead and ordered the garage door as soon as we closed on the property because I knew it needed one, and they were able to get out this quick. I figured it would be a long lead time, but they were able to get out the very next week. So I just went ahead and told them to come on, and then I'll worry about the other stuff later, about painting around it and, you know, replacing trim. If I have to take a little bit of the track back off, you know, later down the road, I can do that and put it back. So I don't think it's going to be a big deal, but it would be a lot easier if I'd have went ahead and had all this cleaned and painted and ready to go. Okay, so while we wait on the garage door people to show up and install the garage door, I've brought a IBC tote full of fresh water from our current house. We're going to do some pressure washing in the back screened-in porch that leads right off from the garage. If you haven't watched the previous video, we're having problems with the well water here at this property with not enough pressure or flow, and I've got to get down to the well house and see what's going on with that. But we brought a tote of water and my little transfer pump and the pressure washer, and we're going to try to get this screened in porch pressure washed. So this back screened in porch that leads right off from the garage and into the house is a pretty good size little screened in porch here. But if you can tell that all the paint is just really flaking off the ceiling real easily. And the brick walls are kind of dirty and stuff, and the windows. And I think it's just going to be easier and quickest to pressure wash all this back here. We're going to see how it goes. I don't know if this is lead paint or not. So I've brought some respirators to wear. And I'm hoping with pressure washing it, it'll keep a lot of the dust down and then the fine particles of that paint, you know, since it'll be a little bit wet, there won't be a lot of stuff floating around. But we're going to get in here and try to pressure wash all this, see if we can get it cleaned up and squeegeed out the door. Maybe. All right, everybody, so it's been a few days since the garage door people came and put up the garage door, and I didn't film any of that just because they didn't want to be on camera, and I respect that. But I got the new garage door put up. It looks a whole lot better than the old ugly green one that was there that was rotten. So we've got this taken care of, and inside this little front porch room, I've got everything cleaned and painted, got the ceiling painted, and we got a new ceiling fan put in. So I would like to get this front glass and door changed out because the glass louvers don't work anymore. The little gears are stripped out, and so these don't open, and it gets quite hot in this little room. But it's not quite as bad since we did install the new ceiling fan. But I'll give you a little update on the rest of the house. The sheetrock guys are still in here working. They've got a lot of the stuff, a lot of the cracks patched. But I've still got a lot of patching to do. I'm gonna patch all the nail holes and stuff like that before we get ready to paint. And I know I didn't film any more of on here on the back porch of pressure washing this, but I had little paint all over me, and all my camera stuff was getting wet and paint chips on it. But we got all this pressure washed. We've just got to come through here and dust off some more of this loose paint that's still stuck everywhere, get all this cleaned off before we can come back in here and paint. So I think today and the next couple of days I'm gonna be working in here in the garage. We're gonna get all the nails out of the walls and everything. And since this has always had a screen door on here, it's let a lot of moisture in. And as you can tell, there's a lot of black mold. There's a lot of mildew and some mold up here on the ceiling. And a lot of stuff. And a lot of dirt daubers that have built in here. So I've got a lot of the stuff cleaned out already. We're gonna come in here and get the rest of the stuff off the walls. I'm gonna be spraying a mixture of bleach and water in just a little garden sprayer. And we're gonna spray that bleach up there, and hopefully it will eat off a lot of that mold and mildew. And we'll come through here, wipe everything off, and then we'll pressure wash the whole garage. get it painted, and then that way this room will be done while we're still waiting on stuff inside to get done. All I've got is some bleach, and I went home and changed in some older clothes because we're gonna be putting bleach on the ceiling. It's probably gonna be dripping on us, but just got about a gallon of bleach and the rest filled up with water, and I shook it up. We're just gonna go through here and spray it on the ceilings and the walls, and we should see some of this dark mildew and mold start to come off. You can really see just how quick that bleach is working. You know, it's already turned this a whole lot whiter and killed a lot of that mold and mildew that's up here. And the same thing for on the walls. You can kind of tell where I've stopped spraying. You can't really tell on the camera, but I've stopped spraying, and this is a whole lot cleaner than it is over here. So we're gonna go through and spray all the walls first, and then we'll come back and spray the rest of the ceilings, and that way it's not dripping on us while we're spraying the walls. We'll let this sit for a little bit, and we'll come back and use the pressure washer and wash it all out. All right, everybody, so it's been a few days since we come in here and sprayed the bleach on the ceiling and the walls. I've let it air out for a few days and dry off really well. The only thing that I've done is I've come in here and patched some of the nail holes and stuff, getting ready to paint. And what we're working on right now is I want to change this screen door out for a pre-built metal exterior door. Just pulled the outside casing off just so I could measure and exactly know what size my rough opening was. Since this is an old house, you never know what's kind of in there until you take it off and see. We'll just set this aside. So the brick mold isn't moving, but the whole door jamb's coming out, which is just fine. All right, everybody, so we got the door put in. It was a little bit more challenging than what I thought. We've still got to put the trim back on this side of the door casing. But what we wound up doing is we actually took the brick mold off of this door. This is a pre-hung door, what they call a pre-hung door. So we took the brick mold back off just because our opening was a little bit shorter than what the standard size door was. We had to trim some off the top of the brick mold to get it to fit. So we stuck the casing in there first and kind of got it all squared up and everything. And then we trimmed the brick mold back into fit, just like you were doing if you were going to build a, a built-in door, not one that's already pre-built. So a little bit more work than what I had anticipated, but we got it in there. Everything works pretty good and everything looks as good as it can. So on this old house. But I'll probably won't put the new trim on just because I don't have the miter saw over here today to make them 45 cuts up at the top and get them to match. So I think what we're going to work on this morning is we've got a replacement window going in this window here where all this is cracked and everything, and these are the old single pane windows. So we're gonna get this vinyl replacement window stuck in this hole. This trim right here we have to take off because it has to go back. So we'll just cut this paint down through here all the way around, pop that off real easy. And we'll have to pull the windows out and then pull each sash out at each side. Pull these metal sashes out. And then this window should just fit back in the hole. All right, so this is what we're left with. We're just gonna scrape all this loose paint off. Try to get all these spider webs and stuff out. All right, so we got this window clean, and I've just went ahead and painted a fresh coat, put a primer coat and 2 top coats on the seal and around some of the trim on the outside. It's gonna be just a lot easier to do it now than when that window gets set in. So this is the bottom side of the window on the outside, and this little trim piece here is just gonna clip in the window, and that hides that bottom gap. It's just gonna sit in there right like that. There's some adjustment bolts on the side that we're gonna run out just to kind of line this window up. So this particular window already has the holes pre-drilled. These little pieces that we took out earlier will go back in here. These pieces here will sit back in the window, and that's what covers your reveal all the way around. So we'll get those shot in with the trim gun, and then all that's left to do is caulk and paint. That all looks pretty good. All right, there's our replacement window. And everything works nice and smooth.